12:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is Friday, November 28th, 2025. And this is your War Notes broadcast. I am Pavielle, your host, and welcome to Global Headlines today. And today we are going to turn our eyes to a tragedy in China administered in Hong Kong and then shift to the ongoing wars and tensions reverberating right now around the world. So just stick it through with me very quickly. I'll keep you less than 10 minutes of your time, and we're going to talk very quickly about what's happening in China and Hong Kong right now. A devastating fire ripped through a high-rise residential complex in the Tai Po district of Hong Kong. Now, at the Wong Fu Court estate. Now, as of this evening, authorities have reported at least 128 deaths, making this the deadliest residential fire in Hong Kong's modern history. Now, dozens more are injured, at least 79 officially reported, and hundreds remain missing as rescue and recovery efforts wind down. Officials suspect that the fire spread rapidly because the buildings were covered in, they call it bamboo scaffolding and flammable foam panels due to ongoing renovations that have been occurring. And those materials are now under sharp scrutiny, etc. Several individuals connected to the renovation company have been arrested on suspicion of gross negligence and possible manslaughter as investigations do intensify and they ramp up. Now, the tragedy has sparked outrage and deep concern over building safety standards, renovation practices, and emergency preparedness in high-density housing estates. And I must say that that's something that I've talked about myself a lot when I see how these homes are built or certain foundations are built in certain areas like these high rises. And I think in my head personally, if somebody was cooking something and all of a sudden something blows up in flames in one person's apartment and then hits another wire, or that wire inflames another wire, then what happens? Now you have another apartment caught on fire, which is horrible. So I talk about this stuff all the time, and it's very important for some of these countries and places to be aware of their architectural moves, okay, before building these high places to consume all these people in one spot. Now, continuing now, the moment of grief, of course, has shaken lots of communities across Hong Kong and raised serious questions about responsibility, of course. Regulation, just like what we just finished talking about, regulation and the protection of ordinary citizens living in public housing. Continuing here with my notes here on the current. Now, on the war front in Europe, the conflict between the forces of Ukraine and Russia continues to roil eastern Ukraine. Fierce fighting was reported in several frontline areas yesterday, including, let me see the pronunciation here, Slobodansk and Kupiansk, Liman, Kramatorsk, and Kostianivka. Also in Pokrovsk and Huliapol and Orkiv. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. Trying my best here with the pronunciation, but civilians do remain at risk. A recent Russian drone strike on the southern Ukrainian city of Kherson killed a woman and a young child. And in Zaporizhia, airstrikes wounded 18 people, including a dozen women. Now, in response, Ukraine reported some success, claiming it destroyed a Russian military industrial complex in Russia's Chuvashia region, marking a bold and controversial strike deep inside Russian territory. Meanwhile, diplomacy moves forward. The Kremlin says that it will discuss a new U.S. and Ukraine peace proposal next week after receiving what's called an, quote, updated and refined peace framework, end quote. On a broader scale, analysts are warning the world may be edging closer to a larger conflagration. Now, recent assessments note growing concern that with certain conflicts from Eastern Europe to Asia that could intersect and escalate, potentially drawing in more actors and raising global instability as a whole. So today, we see a world that's layered in complete tragedy and tension. We got Hong Kong's heartbreaking loss and trauma, and wars persistent, and their shadows stretching across continents everywhere, and everybody's trying to fight everybody, and everybody's pulling each other's ears, and everybody's looking for beef where they don't need to be looking for beef at, but this is what's happening. So that is my brief reporting. My name is Pavielle G. Okay, I am your host, and that's where things stand as of right now for my briefing: the grief in Hong Kong and uncertainty across global battlefields. Um, in general, just a lot of tragedies in general, a lot of conflict, and we can't cover everything in one setting. But I hope that was enough for you all. We'll keep monitoring future developments. We'll bring any type of updates as they come. And again, I am Pavielle G, your host, and you have been tuned into War Notes. Please stay alert, stay compassionate to others, and stay safe out there. Thank you all for hanging out. And if you all are not subscribed, make sure you take the time to do so. I appreciate you all being here.